Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today I'm working on a car, holy shit. So a customer just dropped this Civic EP3 off with me. It is a turbo K24 swap in this car. It's an A4 bottom end with rods and pistons and cylinder support system. And then it has like all the K24 A2 cylinder head goodies. And it does have a turbo kit. And this guy called me and he just said, hey, I wanted to get my car running for the summer and it's been sitting for like 3 years. So the car's been sitting for a long time and he called me and he just happened to catch me in a good mood at the time because I'm really not taking work on at this time specifically because we don't even have the dyno in the floor yet. And a lot of people are, you know, complaining and they want me to do dyno tuning videos, but I'm taking some time to get this stuff set up properly and get all my ducks in a row before I take on, you know, a lot of work again. But the dyno's got to get in the floor yet and all that kind of stuff. But this car has some issues where it'll start and then it'll die. Like it doesn't stay running. And I told him that I would gladly at least get it up and going for him, maybe throw a quick street tune on it, and then he can take it back. And then whenever we get the dyno installed into the floor, I can dyno tune it. Or maybe it'll sit here until we dyno tune, or until we get the dyno in the floor. Maybe this car will stay around till then. I'm not exactly sure, but guy was super cool, called me up, and just reached out. So, like I said, I'm not really trying to overwhelm myself with all the support on huntertune.com, and doing all the website stuff has gotten me swamped. I don't have a whole lot of time in the middle of making content and doing everything else. So, but this car, I just figured, what the hell, I'll try to get it running for you quick. So like I said, I'm gonna give you a build breakdown. He actually texted me, texted me a list of everything. It's a built K24. It's got an anoided aero front end. The last dyno session that this car had in California, where he got the car from, it made 460 horsepower. It's got a cylinder support K24 A4 block with the stock bore, which worries me. Usually whenever you do cylinder support, you want to do an overbore because you want to make sure the cylinders are true, but whatever, it's probably fine. A2 head and cams, head gasket, it's got Wiseco pistons, rings gapped, H-beam rods, K24 A2 crank, race bearings, oil pump, lower timing chain guide, hybrid chain tensioner, RBC intake, speed factory 4-bar map sensor, precision 6262. It's got a 320 in the tank, and then it also has a 044 external pump. So I don't know what's up with that, but it's got an E85 flex fuel sensor, K-tuned rail, and it's got 2200cc injectors from Evolved, K-tuned fuel regulator, and then it's got like Gear X transmission gears. It's got a bunch of really cool stuff. It's kind of weird that it's got an in-tank pump and it's got an inline. It's got inline and in-tank, and it only makes 460 horsepower. Usually a twin pump setup, this thing should be making like 800 wheel. But anyways, we're gonna just disregard that for now. Take a look under the hood. You can see it's a pretty nice looking setup. Good street car setup. It does have a 4-port Mac valve on it. That looks like it's plumbed and wired. They have the air line on this side and just regular vacuum line on that side, but it looks like it's all plumbed in. It looks like this car was running and driving good at one point. We're just going to try to see what the issue is. So if we go inside the car, EP3s are weird. I've never actually owned one of these cars to like experience one day to day, but it seems a little different. This clutch, holy crap. This thing is heavy. That's got a beefy clutch in it. But anyways, he's got his gauges here on a switch. So we got a boost gauge, innovative air fuel. We got an AEM fuel pressure gauge. And when we try to get this thing to run, we crank it up. Now let me turn the blower motor off. Starts, dies. Starts, dies. It's kind of idling. It's really idling low. And then it comes up. Running okay. Everything's running okay right now. Running okay. If this thing sits here and idles right now, I give up. We couldn't get it pulled into the shop, it wouldn't stay idling. It's idling right now. Weird. It would idle good like this for a second, and then it would cut out and die. I'm trying to give it gas though. And it wants to cut out and die. Can't give it any throttle. Okay, and I just quit. But sounds like the boost controller is going crazy out there. Anyways, I swear, right before I filmed this video, I tried to move it actually, and it would just kept dying. It wouldn't stay running at all. It wouldn't stay idling. But anyways, I got my laptop here. We're gonna see if we can find where the ECU is. And just make sure that all our sensors are reading properly. We wanna make sure we have good map sensor signal, throttle position, make sure that we have a good tach signal. We are verifying fuel pressure. There's a fuel pressure gauge inside the car, that looks fine. The wideband was a little lean, but nothing too concerning. Let's see if we can find the ECU in this car. Looks like it's right here. Gotta see if there's a cable anywhere. Yeah, looks like this is the cable. I don't know what this one's for. Oh, this might be for the head unit. This one's probably for the Kpro. So we'll get this plugged into the laptop. I'm gonna pull the map that's on the ECU, and we're gonna see what we can find. All right, so I got my laptop pulled up here. Got the new firmware loaded into his Kpro, and we're gonna turn the key, give the ECU some power, and then we're gonna go up to online, tools, and then we're gonna download whatever's in here. All right, I'm gonna shut the key off. We're gonna check out this file. All right, first thing we're gonna wanna see all the table, because it has a 4-bar map sensor on it. And check out our ignition map here. Looks like they chopped up to do some idling right here. Timing map, 18 degrees. Looks okay. That's kind of weird. -20 at 10,000 RPM. Good thing it doesn't rev that. 15 degrees at 14 pounds. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Fuel map looks okay. It's got a lot of fuel right here. And then it tapers out. What's our cam angle look like? Must have a 50-degree wheel in it to be able to get this much cam angle. Alright, so let's go to the parameters. Looks like we have a built-in wideband here set up for the stock one, I think. So that's how that's set up. Boost controller is set up with duty cycle here. Looks like it was on 20 pounds. Looks like a lot of this stuff is set up. Map sensor is set up. Rev limiter 8,000 RPM. It's a little low for a built motor, but 26 pound boost cut. VTEC 4600. Throttles set up. Lean protection off. Knock sensors off. Idle. Stock, okay. Cranking fuel trim, they got 20% in it, and they also have, so this is a little concerning, they have additional fuel in cylinder 3 and 4. I wonder if there was injector issues with it at one point. That's why they have more in it in those cylinders. Looks like the dead times are pretty close for like a Bosch 2200. Yeah, I mean, let's see here, flex fuel. The content is not even on, so the flex fuel tables aren't working right now. They have the watt compensation hooked up with the wideband, the stock one. So these are your target air fuels. I usually like to tune with them off. I don't even usually leave these on, to be honest. I just tune the car. Yeah, let's see if we can hook into this thing, get it started again, and then we'll data log some of the sensors and make sure they're all working. If everything is working properly, the injectors, because this car sat for so long, I'd probably want to take the injectors out and at least test them to see if they're really far off. Alright, so we'll turn on the data logging. It wants me to re-upload the file. Looks like we don't have TPS here, so we're going to add a new value. Change this to TPS. Looks like we have a working TPS. Let's crank this thing up, see how it is. Running really low. There we go, now it's idling a little better. And then it just shuts off. We have fuel pressure. Idling really low. Air fuel is really lean. Looks like our temperature is working. All that stuff looks okay. Let's try to just give it some fuel. Just a quick and dirty way here. We'll go to fuel trim. Overall, let's give it 20. Upload. Let's try it again. A little better. There we go. Now it's idling better at least. I just gave it 20% overall. When you would give it gas before, it would just want to die. I just gave it that 20%. Yeah, it still wants to die when I give it throttle. I almost wonder if the injectors are like clogged up and they're not flowing what they did before. So the tune's gonna want more fuel to compensate for that. So let's try to throw in another 20% overall just for the hell of it. Now we're even richer. And it's idling even smoother now. It kind of wants to rev, but not really. Even when you can see I'm hitting the throttle and it's just wanting to die. Milliseconds is going up, which means it's trying to give it more fuel. But at least it idles okay right now. Let's see here. I'm just gonna try to just give it a ton of fuel, or maybe it's too rich over there. Let's just try it for the hell of it. We're gonna edit all tables, and we're just gonna try to give this thing some juice. Let's try 40. We're gonna give her a lot. Alright, I just gave it 40% on the fuel map. See if it'll rev now. Ooh. Still not great. Definitely still not great. Idle's pretty good though. I wonder why it's wanting to die when I give it gas. That's kind of odd. So I'm saying, I wonder if this is just too rich. Let's try to go the other way. No, it's worse. It's worse when I go that way. It's a little better, but I literally added 80% of fuel. I'll add another like 40. See what happens here. Wow, now it revs good. Comes back down to idle good. Man, I just had to add 120% fuel to get this thing to rev up. Try to start it back up, see how it starts. I mean, it runs pretty good at idle especially, and now it revs up good. Comes back down to idle good and everything like that. Unless it just has like really old fuel in it, which could be a possibility. I do think we should probably test the injectors just to make sure. They could be really far off, and that's why it's wanting so much more fuel than it did previously. I'm gonna open the door up here. So yeah, I might take the injectors out and run them to the house and See how they're flowing. All right, guys. So I just got the rail unbolted and I pulled the injectors out of it. We're gonna go test these things and see how they're doing. Who knows? Maybe they flow good and the thing just doesn't have any fuel in it or something. But better to test these, considering the car's been sitting for multiple years. And by the looks of it, the top of the injector, the top hat, looks like it's got a bunch of crud on it. So we'll see. Go pop these into the tester. They're just Bosch 210s, Bosch 2200s. Alright guys, so I'm at home with the injector machine and I got the 2200s out of the EP3 Civic put into the injector machine, and you can see the flow is about 25% difference between all four. This one flows quite a bit, this one flows a little less, and these two flow the least. When I run these injectors in the machine, they sound pretty weak, to be honest. The spray pattern and everything looks okay, but they just sound weak for a 2200. Just for comparison, I'm gonna hook up one of my 2200s. I don't know if you can tell a pitch difference between these and that, but this sounds way more pissed off than these three. So just for the hell of it, I'm going to show you guys what a actual Bosch 2200 flows in comparison to these. You can already see it right off the get-go. These things are like barely moving any fuel, and this thing's already off to the races. So it makes me question if these injectors are actually 2200s or not. I don't even think I'm going to be able to finish this test without overflowing the beaker on this one. Oh, it's going to start spilling out. Oh, maybe not. Completely filled the beaker over here. And we flow like virtually nothing on these ones. So that does explain why when I was giving it throttle, it wasn't responding, because the injector milliseconds was going up, but it wasn't actually getting the fuel to the motor, because it needed more injector millisecond to get the proper amount the motor needed. So I'm going to talk with the customer and see what he wants to do, if he wants to upgrade these injectors or if I can try to clean them maybe. But I think even if they're cleaned, I feel like these are only maybe 1000 cc injector. The difference with a lot of my injectors is the thousands that I've been selling lately, the new Hunter tuned ones, they really flow about 1200 with proper pressure and everything like that. Some thousands, like the decapped injectors, you know, you can run 1000 cc injector data and stuff like that. But those really only flow about 750, 800 cc, kind of similar to what these 2200s are flowing in the machine right now. But even with the variants that they have, I'm a little skeptical on running them, but it does show in the tune, like we saw earlier, how they were adding fuel for those low injectors that were here. So I think I'm going to try to talk them into maybe getting a set of the 1500s for this thing. 2200s are really kind of overkill for a street car in my opinion, unless you're, you know, just going full blown race car kind of stuff. If you're going to drive this thing on the street at all, the 2200s will still work good, but 1500s are kind of money for most setups. They'll still support like 700 horsepower on E85. So we'll see what he wants to do, and I'll pick up the guys after we figure out what injectors we're going to put in it, and then we'll go and swap out whatever he's got for whatever we're going to put in it, and then go from there and get them installed and see how the thing runs after that. Alright guys, so I got a set of 1500s, Hunter Tune 1500s that we're going to put in the EP3. I did talk to the customer, and he was just told me to swap out for some different injectors, because the injectors that were in here were flowing really low and they were pretty mismatched. So we got a set of the Hunter Tune 1500s. You guys have seen me use these on quite a few builds already. So we're gonna pop these guys in, and his harness does have a Denso style connector, so I got the fail-proof Denso to EV6 for the Hunter Tune injectors. We're gonna plug those in, and once we get them in, I will start the car up and try to see how it's running then. Hopefully the map is a little bit smoother. Alright guys, got this thing running like a NASCAR pit stop. I had to shim the rail a little bit here to raise up, because these K-tuned rails, the injector like pushes too far up into the rail, so I put a top hat on it, so it has like a stopper or something to bottom out on when I put the Hunter Tune injectors in. Some rails, like the injector will go farther in than others, but this thing's running mint. Comes right back down to idle nice. Checking stuff out here, just threw a base map in it and it's running pretty good. I was just playing around with some Target Air fuel stuff, setting that up. But yeah, looking real good. And yeah, let's see how it fires back up. It's funny because I didn't even touch the tune, and I just like started the car and it ran great. But since then I did put the 1500cc injector data and stuff in. Fires up pretty good. Probably have to come out here tomorrow and see how it cold starts, but right now she's ready to rip. I take it for a drive, but it's kind of late. I'm tired. I've been at it all day doing orders and whatever else. It's been yeah. I also put like 6 gallons of gas in this thing, or 6 gallons of E85. So I went to the gas station. I filled up my little VP racing jug down here. I topped this thing off with some E85, and I was like, oh, watch it just be out of gas, and that's why I was running like shit. So I put the fuel in it first, and it still ran like crap. So it had enough gas in it. It's just I don't know, injector issue. I don't know if the tune maybe got screwed up on them. I don't know what happened, but it's running good now. Like I said, I just threw some base file, some like, you know, injector data in it, and I pulled 100% fuel out where I had 120% added in. So I pulled all that back out of it, smoothed out some stuff, and here we are, ready to put it on the dyno, realistically, but the dyno's not set up yet. It sucks because I'd love to spin this thing on the rollers. Yeah, anyways, got it running, new injectors, the new wiring, and put some fuel in it. It definitely needs an oil change. He told me, he's like, I don't remember the last time I changed oil. It's been 3 years. He hasn't done spark plugs or nothing, so maybe I'll see if he wants me to do any of that stuff. It sucks because this stuff, like, I don't really have time to do this stuff lately. I like working on people's cars and helping people out, but I've just been on limited time lately, you know? Only got so much time. But this is a cool little car. If you guys want to see more with it, see some street tuning, is probably what we'll end up doing on it, just to get it running for the guy and get it down the road. Maybe he'll come back when we get the dyno in. I don't know. But if you guys want to see more content on this car, I'll probably make at least maybe one more video with it. Like, subscribe, comment down below what you think, and have a great night and a better tomorrow. God bless, and we will see you guys in the next one.